Welcome to Club Libertas, the private membership club for the modern mystic. In a world that never stops talking, silence is misunderstood. People equate silence with weakness, with hesitation with uncertainty. They believe that the loudest voice, the strongest opinion, the most aggressive action wins. But they are wrong. Because silence, true, controlled silence, is the most powerful weapon a man can wield. The greatest warriors, the most feared leaders, the most disciplined minds all understood one thing. The one who speaks least listens most. The one who observes first strikes last. The one who controls his words controls his world. Silence is not passive. Silence is precision. And the man who has mastered silence has mastered himself. Element 1, the illusion of noise. Look around you. The world is drowning in noise. Everyone is speaking, shouting, arguing, trying to be heard. People mistake volume for value, thinking that talking more makes them important, that if they don't constantly express themselves, they'll be forgotten. But here's the truth. The more a man speaks, the more power he gives away. He reveals too much. He exposes his weaknesses. He makes himself predictable. A weak man cannot sit in silence because he fears what it will reveal. A strong man thrives in silence because he has nothing to prove. The moment you stop needing to fill the void with words, you become untouchable. Because silence commands attention in a way noise never can. Element 2, the power of holding your words. Most men react. They speak before thinking, act before understanding, and regret before learning. But the man who holds his words, he controls the conversation. He makes people lean in, wait, anticipate. A warrior does not waste his energy in meaningless talk. He chooses his words like a blade, sharply, with precision, only when necessary. When you speak less, your words carry more weight. People begin to notice. They start to listen. Because when a silent man finally speaks, every word matters. This is why the strongest leaders speak the least. They are not led by impulse. They are led by strategy. Great men, warriors, generals, philosophers understood this. They measured their words, not because they lacked something to say, but because they understood the value of saying only what was necessary. Most people speak to seek approval, to gain validation, to convince others of their worth. But the man who has mastered silence needs none of that. He already knows his worth. Element 3, silence as a weapon. Silence is not just restraint, it is a weapon. In battle, a warrior does not show his next move. In negotiation, a master does not reveal his position too soon. In conflict, a leader does not engage in unnecessary debate, because silence forces the enemy to reveal themselves first. When you are silent, you gain the advantage. You let others expose their thoughts, their fears, their emotions, while you remain unreadable. Think of the greatest warriors in history. The samurai, the Spartans, the ancient strategists. They knew that silence is power. A man who does not speak unnecessarily is a man who observes everything. While others are busy talking, explaining, and justifying, you are watching, listening, calculating. Silence makes others uncomfortable. It forces them to fill the void. And in doing so, they reveal their insecurities, their weaknesses, their intentions. The moment you master silence, you shift the power dynamic in your favor. Because while others waste energy, you conserve yours. And when the time comes to strike, you do so with absolute clarity and force. Element 4, the strength to resist reaction. Most people speak because they are uncomfortable with silence. They feel the pressure to respond, to explain, to justify themselves. But the warrior knows there is power in resisting that impulse. When someone criticizes you, do not react. When someone provokes you, do not engage. When someone demands an answer, make them wait, because the moment you react, you give them control. But when you hold your silence, you own the situation. You dictate the pace. You shift the energy. You make others question themselves while you remain composed. And in that moment, they realize you are not someone who can be easily moved. Silence makes others uncomfortable because it forces them to confront their own thoughts. A man who can sit in silence, who does not rush to respond, who does not engage in every battle, he commands attention without saying a word. People notice a silent man. They wonder what he is thinking. They respect his restraint. They fear his unpredictability. A man who speaks too much is predictable. A man who speaks little is powerful. Element 5. The ultimate power move. Silence is the mark of those who lead, not those who follow. It is the strategy of those who do not need validation, who do not need to prove themselves with words. It is the ultimate test of self-control. A man who speaks only when necessary carries a different energy. He walks into a room, and people feel his presence before he even opens his mouth. Because real power is not in how much you say, it's in how much you withhold. Think about the men who have commanded history, the greatest warriors, the most respected leaders, the ones who could shake an entire room without raising their voice. They knew the power of silence. A man who can control his words can control himself, and a man who can control himself can control his world. So I ask you, can you master your tongue? Can you resist the urge to react? Can you become the man who watches, listens, and moves only when it is time? Because if you can, then you have something most will never have: control. And in a world ruled by chaos, control is the ultimate power move. Most people will never understand the power of silence. They will continue to waste their energy in words, in reactions, in meaningless exchanges. They will never know what it means to be still, to be measured, to be in control. But you do. Now, you have the knowledge. The choice is yours. Will you continue to speak, just to fill the silence, or will you embrace the quiet and let the world feel your presence without a single word? The strongest man in the room is not the one who speaks the most. It is the one who speaks only when it matters. So be that man. Move with strategy. Speak with precision. Command your world through the ultimate power move, silence.